So previously I made a video on the myth of blocking, and I was talking about how nobody really blocks. What you're doing is you're either striking, you're trapping, or you're inciting something by maybe opening something up for somebody to attack there on purpose. Today I'd like to talk about the myth of hip motion. You go to martial arts schools, I'm going to take my keys out here. You go to martial arts schools and quite often they say, use hip motion, use hip motion. You don't have hip motion. And then so what happens from there is people think that hip motion's a thing. Hip motion is not a thing. Well, not the way you take it. So when I punch, for instance, people will jut their hips forward, just jerk their pelvis like forward. And then they end up, some people will say, well, my hip hurts, my groin hurts, whatever. So as glutes, whatever. And that's a problem that comes from just jamming your hips forward all the time. What you're actually doing is you're pushing through the ground. Now take this tree behind me here. This is probably all philosophy you've heard before, but you maybe didn't put it in this context. The deeper the root grows into the ground, the higher the tree can grow. I use that reference a lot for balance. If I want to stand on one leg, I have to bend my knee more so I can get my foot in the air without falling down. Okay? Same thing with a punch. I'm actually pushing through my foot, turning my hip, and throwing my hand. So I'm not just jerking my hip forward as hard as I can. I push through my foot, and that chain is turning my body. Similarly, in something like Xing Yi, I'm pushing through my foot and coming forward and stopping. Whether it's karate, whether it's boxing. In boxing, I stop and sink on a punch and push through my foot, and I basically punch them with my foot. So power doesn't come from your hips. The reason we say hip motion is because that's how the teacher sees if you have power. They see your belt move, they see your hips move, or something like that. But jerking your hips back and forth is not actually giving you power. It's something that happens consequentially from pushing through your feet. So when I come back, I push through the front foot, I can block harder. I push through the front foot, I can jab harder. Go through the back foot, I can block or strike harder, or I can punch harder. Okay? All of that comes from your feet. Now, if you imagine your center, your dantian or your tanden, depending on Japanese or Chinese, then you're going to think, here's my center of gravity. I push it down and pop it up. You're going to go, oh, this is that chi nonsense. Well, is it nonsense that in order to jump, I have to sink my weight in order to pop up? No, it's not nonsense. If I want to bounce a ball, I got to take it, throw it down to bounce it back up. So that is the energy of it. It comes down from your center into your foot, back up through your body, back out through your hand. When I tense my shoulder or any of that, it just stops there and then slows it down up here. So it's that wave that comes through my foot. You learn that in Tai Chi, Xing Yi, Karate, Taekwondo. Every real martial art teaches you that. But hip motion is just something we say. It's not actually a thing. Okay? Start thinking with your feet. Start thinking with the ground. Listen to your balance. Okay? Follow us for more, SpringfieldKarateandFitness.com. Follow our channel, and we'll see you soon.